गुड इवनिंग इंडिया। समाज में हर व्यक्ति सुरक्षित रहना चाहता है और उसे सुरक्षित माहौल मुहैया कराने में पुलिस की अहम भूमिका होती है। आज के हमारे मेहमान एक पुलिस अधिकारी हैं। आप दिल्ली पुलिस में जॉइंट कमिश्नर रहे, आप एक कॉलमनिस्ट हैं, राइटर हैं और आपकी लेटेस्ट बुक है द तंदूर मर्डर। स्वागत कीजिए श्री मैक्सवेल परेरा का। नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार जी।
सर, आपकी नई पुस्तक के लिए आपको शुभकामनाएं।
थैंक यू।
पर थोड़ा बताइए, ये जो ट्रैजिक अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट था 1995 का, 22 साल बाद जब आप उस पर किताब लिखते हैं तो क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है?
ये किताब तो 1996 के अंदर मैंने ख़त्म किया था, लिखा था। रियल टाइम पे जैसा डेवलपमेंट्स आते थे उसको रिकॉर्ड करता रहा, क्योंकि मुझे कमीशन किया था उसी वक्त एक मशहूर पब्लिशर ने जो किताब लिखने के लिए। मगर जब मेरा मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट मैंने ख़त्म कर लिया, आई डिड नॉट वांट टू पार्ट विद इट, बिकॉज मैंने सोचा मुलिज़िम इसका फ़ायदा उठा सकेगा एंड आई डिड नॉट वांट टू प्रीएम्प्ट एनी कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स एंड सब जुडिस्ता केस को मैंने मुनासिब समझा इसको विदहोल्ड करूं। सो एक्चुअली सुप्रीम कोर्ट में फ़ैसला होने के बाद आई टुक अप द मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट। उसमें काफ़ी अपडेटिंग करना पड़ा, मैंने काफ़ी समय गुजर चुका था। पास्ट टेंस जो प्रेजेंट टेंस में लिखा था अभी पास्ट टेंस में करना पड़ा मैंने। और या जो कुछ लेसन्स वगैरह जो कुछ ऐड करना था मैंने वो करके आई एम लकी। जो पहला पब्लिशर ने जो देखा उसी वक्त उन्होंने ग्रैब कर लिया इसको और एंड दे ब्रॉट इट आउट विदिन 6 months।
तो ये जो 1995 का मर्डर केस था, साल दर साल जिन्होंने फॉलो किया, न्यूज़पेपर्स पे बहुत से फैक्ट्स उन्हें मालूम होंगे, तो इस किताब में फैक्चुअल रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, क्या नई लर्निंग्स हैं, क्या दर्शाया है आपने?
इस किताब को यह टोटली नॉन फिक्शन है।
अच्छा।
नॉन फिक्शन लिखना कितना मुश्किल है मुझे पता लगा पहले बार, क्योंकि फ़िक्शन में आप जो मर्जी लिख सकते हो। नॉन फिक्शन में हर चीज़ तो फैक्चुअल होना चाहिए, एक गलती भी नहीं हो सकती है। उसके बाद सबके बारे में आप लिख नहीं भी सकते हो, क्योंकि लाइबल का ये है जो यू कैन अट्रैक्ट लाइबल, यू कैन अट्रैक्ट, क्योंकि ऐसे केसेस हैं जिसके बारे में हर चीज़ लिखा हुआ हो। जब हर चीज़ लिखी हुई हो देन आप you may tend to lean on those writings and ये भी नहीं कर सकती हो क्योंकि कॉपीराइट का सवाल है। सो वही चीज़ें आपने अपने ढंग से कहने के लिए जो कोई ना कोई स्किल होना पड़ता है इसमें, और अपने ढंग से करके उसको रीडेबल होने के लिए और भी मुश्किल है। सो ये सारा ध्यान में रखते हुए जो, क्योंकि I was known to be a writer of small articles, short articles, जिसमें creativity बहुत होना पड़ता है। So I combined those skills and मैंने लिखा है। ठीक है, 22 साल के बाद भी किताब या पब्लिक डोमेन में आया है, but it's as fresh, as alive as if it happened yesterday।
और इस किताब के प्रोटैगनिस्ट कौन हैं?
I won't say, I want the general public to know what exactly is a police investigation. I have not spared anyone. I have tried to project a realistic picture, totally exactly how it happens, and we tend to be influenced by thrillers. We tend to be influenced by the American media, the British media। वहाँ तो crime stories is very rampant। अभी तो क्या क्राइम पेट्रोल ऐसा चीज़ें तो शुरुआत हुई है हमारे कंट्री में, मगर most of it is fiction and real life stories which are readable, which readable and enjoyable for the public।
But when we write a non-fiction thriller, how does the writer weave it? How do you reconstruct the entire sequence?
I won't say I did it as it happened. I mean, there is not much of, there are only 2 or 3 chapters in the entire book. You can say, depending on the, I mean, evidence that came forth, the circumstantial evidence that came forth, and the stories that came to us through our interrogations, the statements given by the accused and all. Like Naina Sani's case, the victim's case, the entire background came practically from the family in the end. I mean, most of it we didn't know, but then there were scraps of paper, scraps of torn out bits, you know, from the waste paper basket we picked up. Very crucial information came to us about their life.
Yes.
You know, पूछताछ में लोगों ने कई चीज़ें बताएं, फीडबैक दे दिया हमें, उसमें रिकन्स्ट्रक्ट कर लिया हमें. So realistically, other than those through, everything as documentary, you know, reference.
You will have 2 sets of readers, one 40 plus who perhaps are aware of the 1995, the Tandoor murder, and the younger generation who perhaps were born after that. So how would you apprise those with what is this case all about? Was it eventually brought to justice?
Every case has a peculiar angle to it. The facts and circumstances always are, it's easy to say it is similar to that case or similar, you know, dissimilar to any other case and things like that. But as I've found in my 35 years of policing, it's always a challenge. It is always a different story. However much, you can always bring out similarities, you can coincidences, you can, you know, bring out all these kind of things, but each one is a different challenge. And this was a very challenging case in which within the first 12 hours perhaps I declared who was the accused. Normally you will never find the police, you know, accusing someone unless the arrest has been made.
But you're saying you had enough evidence as the investigating officer?
Yes, yes. By the way, I was the supervisory officer and I could call the commissioner the chief supervising officer.
Okay.
Whereas the investigating officer was the police level inspector.
Okay.
And he did a marvelous job. I did only the peripheral things that, you know, as a supervisor who needs to know, and a busybody like me who needs to know more. So, perhaps my contribution to it is there to support my investigating staff, to supervise and, you know, put them on the right track, or, you know, give my little pittance of, you know, grey cells into their activity.
So one of the objectives this book will serve, as you said, that the young supervisory officers, it'll help them to understand the entire flow.
Oh yes, already there is a lot of talk about it.
Yes.
And yeah, my last book was taken as an example of good policing for the National Police Academy. For this one, I mean, the officers there wrote to me specifically, ordered bulk copies for the youngsters, the young trainees to, you know, digest, and I'm sure all police training establishments will have interest in this book.
And how did this incident and the entire supervisory role that you played changed you as a person and professionally?
I won't say, because as an impartial, you know, a rational viewer, we never take sides in anything. We never let the, you know, circumstances touch us personally, because if we did that, then we would not be really good investigators without you know, bias or prejudice. So I won't say that it has influenced me in any way. It has you know, touched me in a different manner in knowing how this human psyche works in different people at different times, different ways, and definitely that is something to see. Like for instance, somewhere in this book I have called the accused having a, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, you know, personalities. You know, one side he was considered very holy, always performing pujas, and even in the jail, he, even the Supreme Court at that stage, the justices, said that he is reformed, he's done so much, he spends his time, doing pujas for other people and everything, and yet the Sentence Review Board disagreed. He cannot be let out on parole, permanent parole, for which he had and he's back in jail. So, but I do feel that he has paid his debt to the society. He's been, this is the 23rd year he's in the jail, and I have no personal, sort of, though there are lots of people who says that, oh, I think he has done enough term in jail, but he was already in 2 courts. He had been given a death sentence, and while the thinking, I have nothing against the sentence having been commuted to life sentence from death sentence, but I was on record saying that we had enough evidence for a death sentence.
But do you regret making that statement, or do you
Oh,
think
never,
that you were right?
never. I mean, my personal viewpoint, I had perfect evidence for that. If somebody else thinks, if they have more authority for it, yes, they win.
But even the life sentence, do you think in India, as far as law is concerned, we have more than one plausible interpretation of what constitutes life sentence?
No, worldwide, life sentence is, interpreted as life. It is not that we, it can be commuted to 14 years, and the right of parole or right of commutation is always there, and that is the prerogative of the judiciary. It's nothing to do with us, and the rehabilitation, nowadays there rehabilitation and reformation and rehabilitation, they don't call it jail, this thing now, they call it the reformative service, that is, the sentence is for reformation.
What do you feel should be a standard operating procedures to collate what we term as prosecutable evidence?
We should see what in our criminal justice administration system is lacking to you find, no prosecutable evidence. Why? What is it? Is it intimidation? Is it, coaxing?
Political influence?
Whatever. There are any, it is any kind of this thing, and I don't need to go into detail.
But does your book address this issue?
I have spoken about it, and I said that this is what is needed in the criminal justice.
You were also responsible for a certain period about traffic management.
Not certain period. Most of the majority of the time in Delhi police was sort of spent in the traffic unit. At every level, I was in the traffic unit.
Delhi traffic just continues to grow. Now that you sit and reflect, any 1 or 2 tips that come to your mind? Should we use technology, artificial intelligence? Should we increase the challan amount? Is it more about behavior of the driver?
It's not, you see, it's a surety of punishment. It is, if you violate, it's a question of educating a person not to violate, and that violation, starts totally at the basics, that if our life is of violation, in this country we make heroes out of criminals, and everyone says, if are yaar mera dost hai udhar, koi baat nahi, I can violate. Why this attitude? That question of zero tolerance is not. And when we say, there have been so many people, after all, it's a small traffic offense. That small traffic offense can kill. Just jumping of that red light, is violating the green channel, and you can commit a major, and this happens every second day, every third day. Just this violating of, every day we are seeing so many deaths.
So do you think that apart from police, we now require in the modern era police-private partnership maybe more detective firms, more private security? How do we address? Do we need more people to coach us?
This should start at the house, you know, that one has to learn not to, if there is a rule, not to break that rule, not to become, I did this and feel happy about it. And the parents indulgently said, you know, this badmash, he does this and whatnot. I mean, this is not the attitude.
But Mr. Pereira, if you look at that nursery rhyme, every child learns that red says stop, orange says wait,
Yes.
and green says go. So they're learning right in nursery. Where do things go wrong?
I have often asked, you know, because practically every school in Delhi had, you know, invited me to speak to them. I have many schools I have gone more than once or twice. I asked them, nobody teaches you to violate. Tell me one school who has told you that, and yet the moment you leave the portals of the school, how is it that you think that it is Azadi, free India is there for you? Haven't we learned that every freedom has a certain check, a certain, you know, duty to perform? Your right stops, you know, when somebody else's right starts.
Agreed. The young viewers who are watching the program today, do you think that the youngsters are very keen to join the police profession?
If their intention is right for reform, for justice, yes, I would encourage them, but unfortunately that is not the case today, at least from what one hears. There are brilliant brains coming into the services, but then you hear a lot of adverse stories. I can't substantiate them. I don't want to really think ill of this thing, but then the amount that is being bandied around, and you know, the intention doesn't seem to be service or justice, and intentions could be something else.
And in terms of the tools that we have to solve, say, any murder mystery case, do you think forensics, what is forensics, how do we understand that, and do you think we've got adequate tools to crack any case?
It is, I mean, pathetically lacking in this country. Our forensics should have been the foremost. In most of the countries, developed countries, a forensic team goes along with the investigator to the spot.
Immediately after the incident has happened?
Yeah, when even as the police reach, the forensic team reaches with the police. And the pathologist, that's the forensic doctor, whether it is for what is that, the doctors that conduct the postmortem or serology, blood tests and this, that, everything, simultaneously it is done, and they become a solid tool, solid help, aid to the police.
Your nickname is the thinking cop. So ultimately it is still the analytical mind of the policeman that can help provide solutions.
I can assure you, the Indian policeman pitted against the police anywhere else, you know, I mean, no policeman can reach the brain of an Indian policeman, but that how our brain is being used for actual policing is also, you know, questioned all the time, because we are lacking in the amount of technology. Today there is a vast advancement in these facilities. There are lots of improvements in the technological field, in the forensic field, but to what extent are we applying them, you know, to using them to really come? Are we still holding on to the age-old things like tappad mara or, you know, confess kara liya, you know, but the जनता चाहती है एक थप्पड़ भी नहीं मारा.
पर आपको लगता
I've heard it from the
अच्छा.
most elite of अपना case होता. I remember a case in which a very senior functionary, you know, had a little theft from the dressing table of the lady, and the maid was this thing, and the complaint against us was to the commissioner saying that एक थप्पड़ भी नहीं मारा, क्या ब्लडी इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया.
लेकिन आपको लगता है मिस्टर परेरा इसके पीछे हिंदी फिल्मों का भी असर है जो पुलिस की एक इमेज बन गई है?
Yes, I have got I go to Hindi films.
Yes.
Every mother, you know, when controlling the child, jaldi kha lo nahi to police wala aayega. Isn't it? In every house this goes on. Why?
70 के दशक में फिल्मों में हीरो पुलिस मैन होता था.
हाँ, so earlier, no, not only you have made a policeman into a bogeyman, every household this happens. Then every picture, you know, Hindi movie, the policeman is always a buffoon, you know. A huge fat head constable is made into a buffoon.
It's unfair. Cinema has been unfair to police.
Very, 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 very. And everywhere the police siren is heard only after the hero has vanquished the villain.
And that's not true in real life.
Never.
So do you think that this book and more people like you need to come forward so that we can bring out the success stories, the complex cases that have been solved, and we can improve the image of
Since
Indian
we are
police?
talking about this, I would really, I remember going and, you know, literally begging the vice chancellors, why don't they start, you know, research on criminology, on policing subjects? Why don't we have archives that analyze, read through, you know, police cases, police sciences? You know, every country has this, but the first university that started a police subject or subject of criminology was Sagar University. You see, and one hopes there are more things happening now in modern times, but we don't have a police university as yet.
It'll happen next 5 years, 10 years?
I hope so. You know, like police training colleges now, I think have started giving degrees. I at least know that Punjab Academy is, Police Academy is giving degrees.
Mr. Pereira, 35 years in Indian police service. Any regrets? Are you happy with the way your career is shaped?
I have no regrets. I have only hope. I have hope that things will improve and people at large will get justice. Police is the only service which gives you an opportunity to help people.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Vajpayee once was speaking to us, Abhaydan. He spoke of the Abhaydan. There are no other agency, and this he picked up from the Mahabharata.
Yes.
You know, what a wonderful statement that was. But to what extent we use this power that we have,
yes,
depends to person from person.
Absolutely. And let me take this opportunity to thank you and all the police personnel, because it is because of you that each one of us feel safe and secure.
Thank you
very
so much.
And all the best for your book, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All the best.